Rami X back with another video. I hope you all enjoyed today's video. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you're new here, especially if you're new here. And check out my second channel down below where I also post what ifs as well as discussion videos if you're interested in that kind of topic. But with that out of the way, we can now get into the recap. In the last part, we basically left off with Naruto and Sasuke in the Hokage office talking to Tsunade and explaining how they were experimented on. And this conversation of theirs would not go on for too much, it wouldn't be too long, but basically they would just catch up eventually after Naruto explained that they were experimented on with Sasuke. And that basically sums up the recap, as I kind of extended the recap just a little bit. And yeah, we can now fully begin the video. So after this, Naruto, Sakura, and Sasuke would have to demonstrate their new skills against Kakashi, as Kakashi would test them to see how far they have advanced in, their 4 years, basically. While at this point, the Akatsuki has arrived at Sunagakure to capture the host of a certain tailed beast who we know as Shukaku. I don't know who likes Shukaku, but yeah, he's a pretty good tailed beast. But with that out of the way, eventually I do see, Team 7 passing this bell test pretty easily. They're just fighting Kakashi, and frankly, I actually think at this point, just one of Naruto or one of Sasuke would be able to defeat Kakashi. One of Sakura, I'm not entirely sure there. Actually, I'm 100% sure that she wouldn't be able to do it because she's just not strong enough yet. Though, maybe give it a few months. Anyhow, now, this time that Team 7 spent together would be very short-lived, as they would have to go on a mission. This mission would be the mission to help out Sunagakure, or the Hidden Sand Village. Just so you guys know, if you don't, Sunagakure is the Hidden Sand Village. But with that out of the way, Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura would eventually get to the Sand Village, as at this point, Kankura would already be infected with Suri's poison, and Sakura, being the, great medical ninja that she is, some of you may doubt that, but, she is, that's her specialty, she would be able to create an antidote just like she had in canon. This would cause Suri and his poison's effects to just, diminish, because her antidote can destroy it, if you will, and Kankura would basically be saved. Besides that, the events of the canon are going to go the same, except for one thing. So first off, a lot of these fights with Naruto and Sasuke are going to be a lot easier, because Naruto and Sasuke, first off, always travel together, and second off, they're a hell of a lot stronger, if you will. Either way, Rock Lee, Neji, and Tenten would still defeat Kisame, and Guy would still fight Kisame, yada yada yada. But the main thing that I want to change here is the fact that when Naruto, I don't know if you guys remember this scene, but when Kakashi basically uses the Mangekyo on Deidara and snipes his arm, right? That's not actually gonna happen. Instead, we're gonna see Naruto step up here in his anger. We did see Naruto actually activate the Kyuubi Cloak, but because he actually has mastery over it, I do not see him activating the Kyuubi Cloak just yet. And instead, I see him stepping up, like I stated before. And so this is where the timeline is going to differ. Sasuke would, of course, like I explained before, be with Naruto, because they always travel together. But Naruto would tell Sasuke to go on, while he basically, stays behind and deals with Deidara. This would mean, though, that Naruto is not going to be there when Gaara wakes up and is revived by Chiyo, but instead it's going to be Sasuke. It's not going to have the same effect, but it is still going to be a heartwarming moment for Sasuke, who may even shed a tear. He is not heartless here. He has been able to keep most of his emotions, because Naruto's always been around, comforting him and basically being the good to his evil, and you could say that Sasuke was Naruto's evil, in a way. It would be hard to explain. No sus, though. Anyway, we now switch back to Naruto, because I feel like this fight is very important, and I also feel like in this fight I'm going to be able to demonstrate both how powerful Naruto has gotten, and not only that, but really just how powerful Deidara is versus Naruto, and how powerful Naruto is able, just how powerful Naruto is, and just so I can demonstrate his true strength, and just know that Sasuke is like relative to this, so like almost like the same strength, but still like a lot weaker, but like almost, you know. Anyhow, Naruto would stare down Deidara as Deidara would create a clay clone. This clay clone would then rush away from Deidara and Naruto and to Kakashi and Sasuke. Naruto would make sure that Deidara's clone couldn't get anywhere as he would appear in front of it, slicing it. This clone would then explode as Naruto would be shocked at such a jutsu. Explosion release, Naruto thought to himself. Or maybe it was rigged with paper bombs. Naruto would then jump back as he would realize that he didn't take too much damage, realizing that he was more durable than he had thought. At least he was able to tank that paper bomb. Though, because it was at close range, he was kind of surprised that he wasn't hurt at all. Naruto would then grab his sword very tightly, before he was holding it more lightly, if you will, and now he would grab it tight, telling Deidara that he will not allow him to go any further. Deidara would smirk. How cocky of you, kid. Naruto would then smirk. I guess we'll see who's cocky once I defeat you. Defeat me? Well, you sure have the determination of a leader, but that won't get you anywhere dealing with me. Are you sure? Naruto would then put his hands together in an earth-like symbol / jutsu. Naruto would activate an earth jutsu to be more exact, and this earth jutsu would cover the entire area. Everywhere that basically was in sight was covered by this earth jutsu that Naruto had basically poured a lot of his strength into. Naruto would then be panting heavily on the ground as he hadn't actually mastered this jutsu yet, and he had only just now been able to basically extend its range because he wasn't like that tired, so he was able to use the jutsu to its fullest, but he hadn't yet like fully mastered the jutsu until now, so you know he's kind of like not too good with it. And it took a lot of chakra. Naruto would realize such things as he would activate his Kyuubi cloak. Naruto's anger would fuel this Kyuubi cloak as it would start to run rampant. The chakra, that is, not Naruto. Naruto was in full control right now. Just the chakra of the Kyuubi is everywhere, to say the least. Anyhow, Deidara would then smirk. I've been waiting to see some of that Nine-Tails chakra. You know, our leader really wants you. He wants the beast within you, not you. You're nothing. I'm nothing, you say. Well, Naruto would then deactivate the chakra of the Nine-Tails. Well, then I guess you don't have to see the power I possess within. The power you possess within? What do you mean? I mean the Nine-Tails, dummy. I see. So you're saying, if you're not anything, like I stated, you want me to test that. You want me to test you being nothing. Something like that. Now fight me, Deidara. Enough chit-chat. Naruto would then tell Deidara that he is not going to play around with him, as he does know Deidara is a threat. Even to this Naruto, Deidara is a complete threat, as he would activate his dojutsu in both of his eyes. Naruto would now smile, as he was ready to test out his abilities on somebody who wasn't Orochimaru or Kabuto or the Sound 4 or Sasuke. Naruto would then ask Deidara if he was going to say, "Come at me." Deidara would sweat just a little bit from this, as he was surprised that Naruto knew what he was going to say. How interesting. Maybe you're surprised, maybe you're not, but in the last part I explained how Naruto has the ability to slightly see into the future. That's what he's doing right now. Just so you know. Naruto would then jump up into the air, rushing towards Deidara, who was flying on top of a bird. Naruto would then add lightning chakra to his sword, as he would see if the explosion style / release had any weaknesses. Naruto would then stab the lightning chakra into the bird that Deidara was on, as the bird would basically not explode. and would fall to the ground as Naruto sliced it, without any explosion, without anything really. And Naruto would tilt his head as he would smirk. Deidara, you say? Well, you were going to say come at me, but I did. And in fact, I'm glad I did. I was able to figure out your weakness, lightning style. Damn you, kid. Deidara would grit his teeth. Even though you may know my weakness, it doesn't mean that you're stronger than me. Heck, it doesn't even mean that you can beat me, because I am Deidara, master of arts, and one of the Akatsuki. I see. So you're still betting on that, aren't you? Naruto would say, as he would stare down Deidara. Now, fire style, fireball jutsu. Naruto would launch said jutsu towards Deidara, who would be able to somewhat easily block, creating and saying explosive clay minions as a jutsu would form. Basically, those are those, like, stupid, well, not stupid, but, like, weird to say the least, like, little, like, I wouldn't really know how to explain them, but they're basically like the clay humans kind of thing, like clay dolls kind of thing, where they kind of move around and yeah. Anyhow, I don't want to touch up on that too much, but yeah. Anyhow, Deidara would also now realize Naruto's strength, as he would decide to use a lot more strength, to say the least. He would then yell out, C2. A giant bird like dragon would appear as Naruto would start to sweat a little but would keep his calm. He is dealing with somebody whose main goal is to get the Biju, so if he isn't careful, he might just end up dead. Though this is very unlikely, this is just what Naruto thinks. Naruto would then create what is known as a light kunai. I already explained, like, the properties of the light kunai, like how powerful it is, things like that. I also explained the substitution like jutsu that Naruto has, but that out of the way. Naruto would then throw the kunai at Deidara's dragon as it would explode. Deidara was now at a bit of a corner. Naruto's jutsus were able to casually defeat his C1 and C2. How about C3? Deidara would then yell out C3 as a small bird, but a almost big bird but small bird would appear out of his hand. This bird would then massively increase in size. Deidara would then start to sweat profusely. He had drained a lot of his chakra because he had literally just fought another Jinchuriki, so you get the point. This attack was also the same attack that he used to defeat Gaara, so he was putting in a lot of chakra into the attack, to say the least. This C3 would then drop on Naruto, as Naruto would be amazed at his destructive capabilities, being able to block with his sword encased in lightning style. Naruto would now tell Deidara that he thinks that that's the last of his abilities that he has to worry about. Naruto's Mangekyo Sharingan would then activate. It's over. Naruto would then stop time as he would rush towards Deidara, grabbing him by his neck and throwing him into the ground, as he would then yell out water style twin water dragons jutsu, as he would then slam said water dragons into Deidara while time is still stopped. Time is still stopped right now, as he would then yell out earth style twin colliding earth walls. Basically, two pieces of earth would protrude from the ground, or come out of the ground if you don't know what protrude means. And basically, they would slam into Deidara from both of his sides. So now he was gasping for air as the wind had just been knocked out of him. Naruto would then play time, as Naruto would then start to basically pant heavily, as the Mangekyo was still the Mangekyo. But as you know, his Senju DNA and some other various things that he has would help him to easily recover from this, as he would basically fly to the ground, fall to the ground, whatever you want to call it, but he would land basically perfectly, as he would then look into Deidara's eyes. Deidara would be angered, and so angry, but Why, you may be asking? Not because Naruto had just, destroyed his precious art, but because Naruto had the Sharingan. And if you're not, familiar, or you just don't know, or just didn't take some time to, watch Naruto, Deidara kind of hates Itachi, especially because of, quote-unquote, those eyes. He specifically hates Itachi, but at the same time, he hates the Sharingan for what it was able to do against his art. He would later then go on to join the Akatsuki because of a genjutsu that Itachi used on Deidara that basically destroyed his art and, put it against him. But anyhow, it's not like he was being forced into the Akatsuki, but you get my point. I'd suggest you rewatch the scene, but it doesn't really matter. So he would hate said eyes. Deidara would then crunch the soil beneath him as he would grit his teeth, as he thought to himself, weighed out his options. Naruto's pretty strong. He's been able to defeat most of his attacks, if not all of them, with ease. He's also found out his weakness, and it seems like he hasn't depleted in chakra very much. Not only that, but if he has depleted in chakra, then he's not showing it at all, and even if he has, then he would probably rely on his tailed beast's chakra, which he can easily do, debunking his last thought, as he realized that Naruto just has too much chakra to deal with. So he'll do what he could do, and that's, C4. He would try C4, and if C4 doesn't work, well, then he's going to have to use a different technique, to say the least. Maybe you know what I mean by that, but I guess we'll just have to wait, as he would basically pop up. C0 basically expands Deidara's body as if he were doing a suicide bomb, but it's basically a fake suicide bomb. This jutsu was actually a technique Deidara created, to counter the Sharingan. So Naruto's actually unable to see if this is fake or not, so he actually thinks that Deidara is blowing himself up. Not only that, but it is able to neglect the genjutsu that it produces, and Deidara uses his own mouth instead of the ones on his hands to create a giant doll basically in his image, so a massive, he basically becomes a massive doll kind of that's exploding, and it releases a cloud of microscopic bombs that enter the bloodstream of anyone who inhales them on Deidara's command. The micro bombs detonation causes the victim's body to disintegrate at the cellular level, literally turning them into dust. You could even say that this is an OP move, if you will, but it was stated that while fighting Oniki, Deidara utilized an alternate method of C4 by forming a small clay statue of himself with the mouse in his hands. This technique also earned enough credit to be called a fearsome technique by such a powerful shinobi as Obito Uchiha. But anyway, with that out of the way, this attack would be launched, and well, to say the least, it would basically start to destroy Naruto's body, just as it did Sasuke when Sasuke fought against Deidara. But as you also may know, that was a genjutsu, and so was this. Deidara was fooled. Deidara's back was now against the wall even more than it would even against Sasuke, as Naruto had just fooled him. Naruto would then tell Deidara that it's over, as he would manipulate light to create a sword. Deidara would then smirk, as he would yell out that he hates those eyes, those wretched eyes that mock his art, as he would then launch C0. If you don't know what C0 is, well, that's that. But it is the highest form of Deidara's explosive clay, his ultimate art. C0 is a suicide bomb technique used as a last resort. Deidara reveals a mouth on his chest, which is stitched up. After undoing the stitches, Deidara feeds it a large ball of clay, which he had just done, and the mouth on his chest has a direct connection to his heart, so a large amount of chakra is built up, and it then basically explodes. To sum it up, at least, There's a lot of stuff that happens after, like, it manifests itself in his veins. Just a lot of stuff, but to be exact, it just explodes. This attack was capable of destroying basically the whole surrounding area around Sasuke, so it is very powerful here as well. And it would do a lot of damage, but Naruto would be able to survive by using his trump card. I explained what this trump card was, at least I believe I did, in the last part when Kabuto tried to kill Naruto, and this was known as the light substitution technique that I talked about Naruto having, where he can basically turn into light itself for a few moments, though it is very chakra taxing. Naruto doing it just to block a poison kunai took up a lot of Naruto's chakra and really put him at a disadvantage if he were to fight somebody, though Sasuke was with him and everything was okay because, well, yeah. And he's never fought up against an attack this large, and he's never planned to, at least using this jutsu. So you can probably see this attack taking a lot more chakra than just that poison kunai, and it would take literally all of Naruto's chakra, even when using the Nine Tails, but he would survive, as Naruto would now be on his back, panting heavily, and Deidara would now be dead. Naruto would look up into the sky as he would tell Deidara that he thanked him for the fight, as he would then close his eyes and reopen them. His Mangekyo was active. Naruto would then stop time, looking around to make sure that Deidara was completely dead. This wasn't the first time that Deidara tried to fake his death. Naruto would then realize that Deidara was completely gone, as his Sharingan can see chakra even clearer with the Mangekyo, as he was surprised that Deidara was actually gone, as he would pat himself on the back. Good job, Naruto. You did well. Naruto would smirk because, well, he was talking to himself. It almost made him feel like a madman, or, crazy, if you will. Naruto would then start to walk back to Team 7's location, or at least where they should be, as about 30 minutes later, he would arrive. He was pretty beaten up because he had laced all of his chakra, as he would then fall to the ground in front of his comrades. Gaara would immediately stop Naruto's fall with his sand, as Gaara was there with Team 7, and Naruto would basically be stitched up and ready to return to the Leaf Village. Here we would see Naruto return to the Leaf Village. No reason why that's going to change here. With Team 7 as well. But with that being said, I think I'm going to leave it off here, if that's fine with you guys. But with that being said, make sure to like, share the video to a friend, links for this, just anime content in general. Subscribe if you're new here. Sasori has been defeated, and as always, Rami X.